Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Community Impact. I'm Reena Augustine and today's guest is Mr. Ron Baker. He arrived in Australia in 1996 and has worked in sales ever since. He has always loved sales, especially the challenges and rewards that come with it. From door to door to telesales and corporate sales, he has done it all. He really enjoys working with people. Had hard climbing from the very bottom all the way to the top. Everywhere he's been employed, he's made a mark by setting sales records. It wasn't until 6 years ago that he found what he really wanted to become, which is a trusted realtor. He first started real estate in 2016. It was probably one of the toughest challenges that he had to go through in life because he first 2 years was all about learning while making just enough to get by. He has always been a very strong believer that anything in life is possible and it all comes at a cost. That cost is discipline, commitment, learning, and hard work. Please welcome Ron Baker, the founder of Golden Key Realty. Hi, Ron.
Hi, Reena.
Ron, how long have you been in Brisbane?
Oh gosh, since 96.
96.
A very long time.
A very long time.
Yeah.
And where did you move from?
I was in South America and I was there for a couple of years, but we used to move to a different country every 2 years.
And why is that?
Oh, it's mainly because of my dad's job in mining. So every 2 years he'd be contracted to go to another country, and it basically meant new school, sometimes new language, and new everything, new culture.
So that's the reason I couldn't quite get what accent this is.
It's a mix of everything.
It's a mix of everything, yes. So what's your background, Ron?
Filipino, Chinese, and Spanish.
So you've lived in Philippines?
Yes, I did.
Filipino, Chinese, and Spanish.
Correct.
That's a true multicultural person sitting here. And what made you come to Australia?
Look, I came in here for a holiday once, and ever since I loved Brisbane. And when I turned 18, I basically just told my parents I wanted a ticket and I'm moving out on my own to Brisbane.
So you packed a bag and you just came?
Packed my bag and just came here.
And after that?
After that, basically applied for a job, got a job straight away on my first week, and that was it. Just building my own life from there on.
So Ron, you always put emphasis on sales and marketing.
Sales and marketing,
right?
Correct.
And is that what you started with?
Actually, my first job was in IT.
IT?
Yes.
So you have a qualification of IT?
No qualification.
Okay, tell me more.
Kind of just got lucky, you know, when you submit your resume and you don't quite tell the truth, and you get the job. Anything just to get the job.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did you do a good job? IT is not easy.
No, it wasn't. I worked there for 2 years and it was a big headache managing the service area, looking after computer repairs. And to be quite honest, I was pretty scared in the very beginning because I didn't actually know I was going to get the job.
Okay. And your transition to sales and marketing?
Well, I thought about why did I get this job and how did I get this job in the first place? And I realized when I was in my job interview, I sold myself to that boss. He had over 80 applicants on that day, and I just sat down and I just spoke to him, and he really liked me, basically selling myself. And he basically told me after that interview, the first interview, that I pretty much got the job, but I've still got to go on the second interview. I just knew what to say.
Yeah.
Put it that way. That's when I decided, well, I should be in sales. I shouldn't be in IT.
And that's when your journey began.
That's when my journey
Because
began.
you own a real estate company, right?
Yes.
So you sold yourself to the interviewer, the boss. Yes. So that's when you realized that you're really good in talking?
In talking and just knowing what to say at the right time and just being able to connect with people. And that's why I left my job, and my first job was pretty much just in door-to-door sales, commission only, but I loved it.
Wow. Door-to-door is the toughest thing that anyone can do because you are going to knock at a stranger's door.
Pretty much.
Am I right?
Pretty much.
How was your experience?
It was really good, actually. That's where I learned most of my skills. So I did door-to-door for over 5 years and have pretty much knocked on almost every house in Brisbane. And proud of it.
Any bad experience?
Yes, quite a few. But,
Okay.
you know, they're fun memories when I look back. Being chased by dogs and sometimes by people.
People. Okay. And the good experiences?
The good experiences, well, just the amount of people that I met, great people that I've met, and just being able to get to know people from all different cultures and background.
And it helped you
It did.
because of the multicultural society. So you mentioned to me about this experience that you had while door knocking. So what was it, Ron?
I did actually. Well, on my first week when I was working for a cable TV company, what we basically did was knocked on doors, and we were supposed to organize connections and sell cable TV door to door. I knocked on a door once, and it was a blind guy that answered the door. And first thing he basically said was, "I'm blind." Now, most people obviously will say thank you for your time and possibly just go next door and knock on their door. Okay?
Yeah.
But I didn't stop there. I wanted to find a need for this person and being able to understand his situation. And obviously, I looked around and I noticed, yes, the guy's blind. He's got a photo there of the family. And I noticed as well, there were some little kids in the background in the photo. So I basically asked him, "Excuse me, sir, do you have kids by any chance, grandchildren?" And he said, "As a matter of fact, I've got 2 grandchildren. Why do you ask?" And I said, "Well, do you find sometimes your grandchildren don't come over because they're too busy watching cartoons at home with their mum?" And he goes, "Well, that's actually the reason why they don't come over, because they're always too busy watching cartoons." And I went straight for the close, which is, imagine if you've got 24-hour cartoons at home. They'll never want to come home. And he goes, "Come in and sign me up."
Wow.
And he loved me. I got, obviously recognized for that sale as well. Yeah.
So thinking widely, thinking openly helped you.
Thinking openly, yeah.
Isn't it?
Being able to connect with people,
Connect.
understanding their
Empathy.
situation.
Yeah.
Correct.
Very
And
important.
you can always come out with a win-win situation for both sides, of course.
So how did Golden Key start?
Well, I have had 4 years of background in real estate, working for other companies, but I also felt very limited with my growth, and I also felt that some changes needed to be made in the industry, and I took that opportunity, of course, when we had our lockdown to basically start my business and grow it from there.
Okay, and how long you have been running this for?
We've been operational for about 1.5 years now.
And sold many?
Sold quite a lot, yes.
So if somebody wants to approach you and ask you a lot of questions, where to buy, when to buy, how to buy, what are the procedures, how do you guide them?
The procedure, first of all, is always understanding your client, and that pretty much just comes with every product you're selling. Just understanding what they're looking for, what they want. I guess understanding their life, their budget, and once you get to know your client, you're able to point them to the right direction from there.
So when to buy?
When to buy, look, you buy and sell on whatever market you're on. So there's really, it's a very tough question. When to buy, if you've got the money to buy, that is the best time to buy. Of course, always.
Yeah,
Other than that, you'd be paying rent, which is dead money at the end of the day.
That's right, that's right. So Ron, tell me this. So people from Melbourne, Sydney are coming to Brisbane.
They are.
Because they think, wow, the houses are cheap. So
Correct.
how can the Brisbane people avoid them not to buy the house or the real estate because we need the place? How can we balance that?
How can we balance? Look, it's tough question. The market is, at the moment, yes, doing very, very well. And that's also because there's kind of a big migration happening at the present moment. A lot of people from New South Wales and Victoria are buying out a lot of the properties here because they know that they can get a lot more for their money. But at the same time, since they've announced the Olympics, a big boost as well in the economy. It's jumped again in terms of the amount of sales, especially for apartments. I have been getting a lot of apartments lately sold from buyers from Sydney and Melbourne. Not necessarily moving to Brisbane, but at the same time more expanding their portfolio. Okay, and I guess they get a lot more for their money here.
Like an investment property?
Correct.
Okay.
And since after COVID, the new leases that are being signed, rentals gone up quite a fair bit as well.
So how does it affect?
How does it affect? Well, look, it's basically a seller's market at the moment. That's where it's at. So it wasn't like how it was 3 years ago, where your buyers pretty much dictate what your house is worth. At the present moment, if you're going to buy a house, you've got to be prepared to pay a lot more than what it's actually worth.
That's toughy, hey?
It is.
Wow. So home loans, Golden Key home loans is starting soon. So
we are.
Tell me more.
We're starting up, we plan to open on November, and the purpose of Golden Key Home Loans as well is it's more to streamline the process as well, because what I found, especially for first home buyers and a lot of people without any experience in buying properties, they're kind of lost, totally lost with what their budget is, what they can buy, and things like that. And a lot of the times as well, not engaging with the right broker can make a very, very big difference as to what you're going to purchase, because if you've got some broker who's pretty lazy into typing in all your details and not doing the proper calculations, it can mean bringing your budget down from 600 to 300,000 or 400.
Wow.
And changing the whole outcome of, I guess, what you're going to purchase, whether it's going to be a house or an old apartment.
So, because there are some examples around me, people who actually have told me that the procedure to buy a house is not easy, and if you don't get the right person, right mediator to help you in this journey, it will be tough. So now, Golden Key is not only a real estate company, but is going to help with the broker, with the home loans?
We're going to have, it's going to be a separate entity, a totally separate business, and it's mainly just focused on the home loan side of things. Obviously, we are going to take care of people to guide them through the process of buying a property. They don't necessarily have to buy from Golden Key, okay? I just wanted to get that straight, but it's more, to help them with that whole process of getting their home or building up their property portfolio, whatever it may be.
Oh, that's excellent. So you don't have to buy the property from Golden Key Realty, but if you just want to hire Golden Key home loans, possible.
Yes, we're just there to basically guide you with the financial side of things.
Okay. So when a person is lost, as we spoke, and comes to you, so you will be able to guide that couple or single person or a family from the start of buying the house till they have the house, the contract in their hands. Is that correct?
Correct. Well, the first step is always when someone wants to buy a house, the first question to ask is, have they engaged with a broker?
Okay.
And it's pretty much just getting them to take that initial step to go and have a chat with the broker to double confirm what their budget may be.
And if not?
If not, look, they can waste a lot of your time, unfortunately, because you'll be showing them properties, and at the end of the day, they might even put an offer in there, and it's just going to be a waste of everyone's time, not knowing that they're actually able to qualify financially for that amount that they're trying to borrow.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. So if somebody calls you, you can ask them, okay, do you have a broker? If not, please first go and see a broker and then come to us. Is that right?
It's our job as a real estate agent to obviously qualify every offer before we do present them to a seller, and making sure that every offer that we get is a solid offer, meaning that we do have to basically qualify them financially, and it can basically mean just asking them simple things like, have you got a pre-approval from your bank? And things like that, because sometimes when people do put an offer, they can be a little bit lost, and that can basically mean a waste of time for myself and for the seller. Okay, because once they accept that offer, if they're not qualified and they're not in the right financial standing, it basically can mean that the contract will flop, and then we'll have to do it all over again.
So what timing are you looking at? The waste of time?
The waste of time, look, it's part of the job, unfortunately. We
so
do
how
this
long
a lot.
are you looking for? Like, I want to see the advantages and disadvantages. If somebody comes with and wasting your time, is it like a day, 2 days, a month maybe?
It really just depends, but look, my job, because I've been doing this for many years, is to be very, very direct with the client as well in a nice way, and whatever it is that they're buying. A lot of the times, if they say, okay, I want to inspect an apartment, I am pre-approved, I sometimes may ask, how much are you pre-approved for? What's your budget? Just before that actual inspection, to make sure that I'm actually showing them the right property.
Yeah.
That's within, their budget that they're looking for.
Okay. So Ron, let's talk about the real story. Running a business is not easy.
No, it's
not. Starting a business is very scary. So did you have that fear of starting?
Not really, no. It's probably not a good feeling to have, no. It's all about harnessing as much of that positive energy to keep you going throughout the day, because starting a business means you've got a lot of overheads, but then you've also got a lot of guys that are depending on you, and you have to make sure that everyone else around you is making money as well.
Okay, so you had no fear to start?
No
Where
fear.
did the confidence come from?
It's always been me. I've always programmed myself to do that. As I mentioned, I did arrive in here in '96, and ever since then, I've been working 6 days a week, more than 60 hours, 60 hours a week ever since. So I think it's just programmed in me now.
Okay, then tell me, how do you look after your health? If you're working 60 hours...
Yes.
Yeah, tell me.
I still have to find that bit of balance to be able to shut off. And that just comes with many years of experience, because, if you don't find that balance, that stress, it can be really bad. That can lead to depression and a lot of things like that. So, to be honest, I've just been so busy, I've got no time to think about anything else. And when I do have time to think about other things, it's more about spoiling myself, taking myself out somewhere, shopping, traveling, whatever it may be.
Okay, we all need that, once in a while?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So, Ron, have you always run the business in Brisbane, or have you tried somewhere else?
Look, I have. I've started other businesses before, that never really worked out. I guess everyone goes through that sort of process and stage in their life where they think of an idea, and I think my first idea when I started a business was when I was 12 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was going for a walk.
You're too advanced.
Yeah. I was going for a walk up the mountains and picking up blueberries and strawberries, and I thought, I'm going to start selling these to make some extra pocket money.
And you did?
And I did, yep. I packed them up and packaged it properly, and I went out door knocking, started selling it.
At the age of 12, door knocking?
I did, yeah.
Wrong.
Yeah, no, it was fun.
That's good. And other businesses?
Other businesses, yeah. Well, they didn't really do too well. Yeah.
And did you find out why?
It's more the attitude. It's always the attitude. Yeah.
Nothing else?
Nothing. It's all about the commitment and the attitude.
Okay. So, they say that if you find what you really want to do, it's not a job. It's not a 9-to-5 job for you, or it's not a 60-hour job for you.
Correct.
Right? So you really love what you do.
I love what I do at the moment.
So it's not a job for you. So you
Not
created
really.
an environment where you actually do the work, but you don't feel like you're working. Is that
No,
right?
I don't. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, yeah. So
When it comes Sunday, I'm actually looking forward for Monday so I can get into work.
wow.
Already planning it.
That's excellent. So, what advice would you like to give the people who are going to start a business, thinking of starting a business, or already in the business? What advice would you like to give them?
Well, don't just sit there and think about it. Just do it. Just do it.
And what about the fear?
When you're doing it, there's just no time to think about that, to be honest.
Just
Yeah.
jump in.
Just jump in and do it.
Incredible, incredible advice. Okay, so as we mentioned and spoke about the prices going higher and higher and higher. So will there be a time that the first home buyers can afford to buy the first home, or the second home, or the third home? Where's the cap?
It's probably going to be a while, to be honest.
Okay,
with
how
you,
long are we talking here?
Because Brisbane is quite a big place.
Okay.
Okay, and it's going to be a while before we get to that stage, which is what Sydney is on at the moment. So in Sydney, if you had 800,000, 900,000, it's still pretty hard to get anything decent unless you're going to move pretty far away from the city. Eventually, Brisbane will start following that trend later down the track. Not as yet, but that's where it will end up. It's all about population growth, of course.
Are you saying 10 years down the lane?
It could be 10 years down the track because that's when we're going to have the Olympics.
Yes.
And Brisbane will be right in the stage there, in the world stage. And yeah.
So how is Olympics going to affect the whole system right now?
Look, it is still a long way away, okay? But at the present moment, with all the, I guess, money being spent by the government in terms of, I think they're putting about $5 billion into developing, I guess, the Olympics and all that stuff. It's definitely going to be Brisbane right there in the world stage, and a lot of people are going to be choosing Brisbane as their destination to move. At the present moment, I'm seeing that already because I would say about 40 to 50% of a lot of the apartment sales that I'm processing in a regular basis is pretty much coming from buyers from New South Wales and Victoria.
Oh, wow.
More than 50% at the moment.
Yeah. 10 years sounds like a long time.
It sounds like a long
But it just
time.
goes in a blink of an eye.
I know, I can't wait.
Yeah, isn't it? It just goes, yeah. And we are pretty lucky to have Olympics here, hey?
Yes, yes,
Wow.
we are.
Ron, you just got engaged.
Yes, I did.
So what's happening in your love life?
Oh well, look, life's going pretty well. We're getting engaged. We're getting married. We plan to get married in July next year. So we're still at the planning stages.
So how are you managing your personal life with your business life? It's too much. Tell me, how can we balance it?
Life's always been pretty full on for me. Since before I got engaged, since before I started the business, I'm always out there grinding. And it's always like that, especially in this industry. There's a lot of competition in this industry, so you've just really got to be always out there. But now that I've got Golden Key, I've got a proper platform to be able to expand and get myself out there. It does make things a lot easier, and obviously I've got the rest of my team to help me out as well.
Wow, so having a team helps.
It does.
Fantastic. Pleasure having you here, Ron. Thank you so much for your time, Ron.
Thank you for having me.